Good evening, ladies. Thank you very much for coming this evening. I know that our schedules are very, very busy, and we are very pleased that you could take some time out of your schedules to come and be with us this evening. I'm Maria Dutton, owner of Passages Travel and Cruises, and I have my colleague, Jenna Charpentier. Between the two of us, we are Passages Travel and Cruises. We do everything but pack your bags, and even if you need that, we may help you. Depending
It has
upon
to be a time crunch.
Yeah, it has to be a time crunch if that's the case, and I've got a little story about that. But anyhow, we're here this evening to do some talking about the tours and things of that nature that we have coming up. And I also have with me, we're lucky enough to have with us Paul Julia with Colette Vacations. And we're going to be talking about some of the tours that we have with them as well. But first off, we're going to start off with a little bit of new TSA information that we find very, very helpful.
So Maria, I don't know if anybody's heard about this, it just launched this spring. Maria and I were in Nassau a few weeks ago, and we were leaving the airport, and we had to clear customs in Nassau. And we walked up, and some people held their phone out and went that way, and then another one held their phone out and went that way, and then we had to go to this really long line. And we were like, why are they going and we're not? And so they said, oh, well, there's a new mobile app, and you download all your information, and you answer a bunch of questions, and it does all the custom stuff for you. So all you have to do is show your passport to the customs guy, he pushes a button, and you go through. So you get to skirt that entire line. And so Maria was like, we're not standing in this line ever again. So find out all the information. So there's a quick little video that explains it.
Today, Americans are traveling abroad more than ever, and at U.S. Customs and Border Protection, we're finding new ways to make entry into the United States easier and more efficient. Now, with Mobile Passport Control, or MPC, U.S. citizens, U.S. lawful permanent residents, Canadian visitors, and returning visa waiver program travelers with an approved ESTA can simplify their entry into the United States right from the palm of their hands. To date, there are over 30 U.S. ports that offer the corresponding mobile passport control apps, which allow you to streamline your inspection process, enabling CBP officers to focus more on the inspection and less on the administration functions, ultimately decreasing your wait time. Once submitting your travel details to CBP, you'll receive an electronic receipt with an encrypted quick response QR code, ensuring your information remains private and protected. Learn more about mobile passport control at cbp.gov/MPC. Mobile passport control. It's your passport to more efficient travel.
So it looks like this. It's very user friendly. Whether you are an Android user or a Apple user, it will look very much the same. And it walks you through step by step how to do it. You do this once you get to the airport, and it just helps you, like we said, bypass that long line. So while you're waiting your security line, you can be entering all your information in. And it works with your global entry, pre-check, all that, if you have that as well. The Customs and Border Patrol, I'm sure at some point is just gonna have one app, because right now they're all fractured into a bunch, and so at one point, they're gonna have to merge them all together.
So this
But
is
for
different
now,
than global
this is
entry?
different than global entry. Global entry is for the security and, like search and stuff. This is specifically for your passport to enter the country back, through customs. So if you've been abroad and you're clearing customs, right now it is available in Baltimore and, Dulles on our side. Only, in Dublin and Abu Dhabi, and was there another? I think that's the only one right now, overseas, as far as Europe and farther out that way. But they are getting there, because there's more and more, as long as the US has a presence there, they can start entering, and creating these, passport control centers. And apparently next year you won't even need the QR code once you enter everything in, you just show your passport and you're good to go. So you'll be able to skirt the line. The best
This
part.
started in April of this year.
The best part is, sorry. You can have 12 travelers on one person's device. So if you're traveling with a group and you have a designated leader, they can enter it all. You have a savvy person using the phone. If you have a bunch of kids or teenagers or family or whatever, only one person has to do it for up to 12 of you. So that is a huge help. So,
We did this coming back from, Ireland.
yes.
Our daughter has it on her phone.
Uh-huh.
She has included all of us on her phone and.
You just whisked right around. See, VIP, we were standing in line for half an hour. Alright. The other thing, we just wanna make sure everybody is aware about STEP. This is the, State Department's, safety website. It's just, you go online, you register all your information, where you're gonna be staying, your traveling info, your passport info. And then the embassies in those countries have your information when you're traveling there. And they can email you, reach out if something happens, God forbid, war breaks out, or there's a natural disaster, you have a family emergency trying to get a hold of you, they can call the embassy, they can call the government, they can direct them to that country and they can get a hold of you. So, it's just an extra layer of security and safety for when you're leaving the country, because like Maria said, while the airlines know you're leaving the country, the government doesn't. So.
That's their way up, yeah.
Oh, yeah, and it's free. So we're gonna go through some travel opportunities for you coming up. Let you get started on this first one.
Alrighty, so we've got a small group departing out of Baltimore in October, 20th to the 27th, doing a round trip cruise to the Bahamas. Most of them are leaving out of Winchester, Orchard Ridge development there. That's where this group is originated from. And so if you're interested in joining us on that, we do have some information on that particular set. Did we bring any of that with us?
No, but I'll
Yeah,
attach.
so we can get to, so that's that one. We're gonna be doing a quick, since we just went to Nassau, we decided that, we had to work the whole time we were there. So we really wanted to go back and play a little bit, and why not go and do a little shopping? So we're gonna look at, putting together a small group to leave, probably second week of November for like 3 nights. Just a quick getaway, get down there, enjoy it. They have a place called the Fish Fry that, where they have all kinds of local food and things like that. They've redone all of downtown Nassau, so it's been completely revamped, which it needed desperately. My wrong spot. So, which it needed desperately, so now they've got an amphitheater down there and all kinds of things, so we were hoping to go back and just explore, just a quick little getaway, since it's in November that we're thinking it would be a good opportunity to, do some shopping, as you've got duty-free shopping down there, gets a little bit of sunshine before, the winter socks us all in, so. That's trip number 2, then we're gonna be heading to Costa Rica, in, Central America. I have not been there yet. So I'm very excited about that. So that's March 1st through the 12th. We're gonna, we'll go over a little bit more detail of these trips. I think I want to go ahead and let Paul talk about that one before we move on to the next one.
Oh, he's got they're all in one.
Oh, okay, so we'll do a pro presentation on that, okay.
Yep.
Alrighty, and then we've got Panama Canal out of Tampa, again on Carnival Cruise Lines. We're departing out of Tampa and we're gonna hit the Panama Canal. It's an 8-day cruise. Anybody interested in joining myself and my husband on that one, we would love to have you. Southern Italy and Sicily land tour. We're doing 2 trips to Italy this year, and we kind of had an overflow. We sold out, and so my customers that wanted to go on this one that could not go, talked me into going again next year, as long as I was going. So I said that would be fine, but we're not gonna do the same place. So we're gonna do Southern Italy and Sicily, and very excited about that one. There is, it's a long distance to go to in Italy, so on that particular trip, there's going to be a couple of long rides, but it is what it is, and I'm sure that we'll make a lot of fun out of it. And then we're going to be doing the Enticing Duro with AMA Waterways River Cruise. AMA Waterways is the, I think, almost the #1 river cruise. There are some boutique lines, but they do a much better job than Viking. As far as river cruises, there's more things included with them. There's not a lot of, with Viking Cruise Lines, there's a lot of differentials depending upon the cabin type that you have. With AMA Waterways, there are no differentials when it comes to something like that. The food is outstanding, and right now, we had a wonderful time. We just got back. So this is going to be 3 nights in Lisbon and then round trip on the Douro on a brand new ship. And so I'm very excited about that one. And then Jenna's going to be escorting Alaska by land and sea with Princess Cruise Lines. It's back to the wilderness trip. Starts in Fairbanks. Do a couple of nights up there. You get to do the Discover Riverboat cruise, which is absolutely fantastic. Anybody that's ever gone that I sent to Alaska, and I've been in this business for 42 years, has come back out of everything that they've done. That Discover Riverboat cruise in Fairbanks teaches you about Alaska. And then once you do that, then you come down, you get to see have the opportunity to see Denali from both sides, from Mount McKinley as well as from the Denali Park. And then you continue down and go southbound on River Cruise, on Princess through the Inside Passage. And so you get to see all of the wonderful things up there. Alaska this year was crazy. I had more people going to Alaska than I can count. And it's an amazing place. And if you've never seen the Gold Rush tour, when you're going on the train, it's Dead Horse Gulch. It's something else. It is definitely something else. So, and then we're going to do flavors of Portugal and Spain land tour, prefacing to what we're going to be doing the following year. So Paul will be going over that. We're going to do Israel first quarter of 2026, and then we're doing Morocco April 9th through the 23rd, 2026. And we have information on Morocco. Israel is still coming. So with that, I'm going to let Paul go ahead and roll into his presentation.
Thank you, Luann.
My
Thanks for having me.
pleasure.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Paul Julia, and I am the Business Development Manager for Colette in Virginia, Maryland, and the District of Columbia. And I'm very grateful to be here with you all this evening. Thank you all for coming out for this presentation. So I'm going to be going over a few tours for you here. And I think if we could go to, well, let's start with the video. Let's roll the video. Fun video.
Do you know how to get here? Or here? Have you ever tasted anything like this? Or this? Maybe you just want to spend a night looking up at the stars. Spend the day shopping. Or just try something new. Whether you want to get in touch with nature or party like a local, let us do the hard work so you can have more fun. This is Touring with Colette.
So I hope you all enjoyed that little video about us. Colette has been in business now 106 years. That makes us the oldest tour company in the United States. We started off 106 years ago doing what were called jitney tours down from New England all the way to Florida. Took a week to get down to Florida. You stayed a week in Florida, and then it took you a week to get back up to New England. That's how we got our start all those numbers of years ago. Since then, over time, we've expanded into I would say arguably a global powerhouse in guided travel. We go to all 7 continents. We have over 170 tours in our product line, and we have various different styles of travels. I think it's a great partnership that we have with Passages Travel, because their slogan is "We do everything except pack your bags," and that's pretty much in line with how we handle travel at Colette. So, for example, your luggage is handled throughout for you from start to finish. You have a quality tour manager who's a salaried employee of Colette, guiding you every step of your experience, and that's buttressed by the addition of local guides to provide an extra layer of expertise. You're going to be staying in quality 4-star accommodations. When you're staying in a city, a major city, you're going to be right in the center of things. You're not going to be out in the suburbs, something like that, because we want to make sure that when you do have some free time, and pacing is something I'll talk about in a second. When you do have some free time, we want to make sure that you have easy access to restaurants, shopping, nightlife, and any sites that you might want to check out that you did not see while you were on tour with us. As far as the tour pacing goes, we do everything possible to provide you with a perfectly paced program from start to finish, which means you're spending fewer nights, one-night stays, less time packing and unpacking. We've designed our itineraries so that you're not unnecessarily going around in a circle, just so we can save a couple of bucks on not having to change airports. And we have provided a lot of our tours with unique modes of transportation, some with unique accommodations, as you saw with those igloos. Those are in Finland, and we've got a lot of unique experiences like that as well. And a large part of what we do, we're really big on in helping people immerse themselves in local culture, and a large part of that is food. So you'll find a lot of culinary experiences on our tours. Wherever we have dinners included on our tours, we're going to do whatever possible to place those dinners in local restaurants, so you're really getting those local flavors, only using hotel restaurants when absolutely necessary, right? So if you're in a resort in the middle of nowhere, by necessity, we're going to have those meals hosted at the hotels. But whenever you're in a major city, something like that, we want to get you out to those local restaurants so you can experience those local flavors and hopefully interact with some local people. And that's something we're very big on as well in the space of guided travel. So we're going to start this tour with Costa Rica. We're going to start this presentation of these two tours with Costa Rica, A World of Nature. This is one of our small group explorations tours. So again, I mentioned we have several different styles of travel. The full-size motor coach tours that we operate, which is the bulk of our tours, those are called our classic tours, right? And then we have our small group explorations tours. So the classic tours we cap at about 44 passengers per departure. The small group tours we cap in most countries at 24 passengers. In sub-Saharan Africa and certain other countries, we cap them at like 18 to 20 passengers per departure. And it's important to note that these are completely different tours from our classic tours. And the reason I emphasize that is because you're getting a different experience. Small group touring kind of came about when certain tour companies were worried about their bottom lines. They noticed that on certain dates they were never filling up the buses. What are we going to do about this problem? We're not making money. That's what we're a business. We're in the business to make money. So they said, okay, let's take these dates where we're never filling the buses and we'll just call them small groups. We'll charge people more money because they're getting fewer people on a tour. But the point of that is that it was the exact same tour that you would be getting if you were taking one of their standard departures, just with fewer people, and it's costing you more money for having that privilege of being with a smaller group, right? So where I'm going with all this is a completely different style of product. So we've kind of asked ourselves, what can you do with a small group that you cannot do with a large group? So that means those more unique boutique style accommodations. The hotels here cannot be a member of a chain and they cannot have more than 150 rooms. It also means access to a lot of places and a lot of experiences that you would not be able to get on a larger tour. So this is kind of your, shall we say, view of from 30,000 feet of this particular tour. To sort of walk you through that quickly, you're going to be flying into the capital on day one, San Jose. We're about a 5-hour flight to Costa Rica from here, nonstop. So that's one of the great appeals of this destination is that proximity and that ease of access. So you don't have to worry about an overnight flight. So day one is your departure date. It's also your arrival date into San Jose. And you'll spend one night in San Jose at the beginning and then one night at the very end. The reason here we're not spending a whole lot of time in San Jose is because it's not the most interesting part of the country, to be honest with you. Okay, we want to get you out and around the country to really experience the natural beauty of Costa Rica. That's what this tour is all about. So after San Jose, we're going to be taking you to Tortuguero National Park. That's on the Caribbean side. So you'll notice you're seeing two oceans here, and on one country, right? So you went out to Tortuguero National Park on the Caribbean side for 2 nights, after which you're going to make your way back westward on the northerly side, staying in 2 nights in San Carlos, and then moving on to Arenal in the middle of the country, most famous for its volcano. You'll be staying in a beautiful resort in Arenal for a total of 3 nights, after which you'll head southwest and you'll be going to the Pacific side of the country to Playa Herradura, where you'll stay for 2 nights, and you'll have a special full-day excursion to, I would say, arguably the most beautiful national park in Costa Rica, which is Manuel Antonio National Park. After your stay in Playa Herradura, we'll take you back to San Jose, where you'll stay your final night in the country, and then we'll fly you back home from Costa Rica. Again, this is an explorations tour. We're gonna have a maximum of 24 passengers on here. Sorry.
Peppers?
My bad, it's my bad. So, could you move to the next slide?
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so, we rate our tours on an activity level of 1 to 4, 1 being the easiest, 4 being the most difficult. Keep in mind, please, that the vast majority of our travelers are 55 and older. So when we're coming up with these activity levels, we're not taking into account 20-somethings who run marathons and things like that, right? We're keeping in mind our core demographic of travel. Activity level of 3 basically means what you see here on the tin. You're comfortable walking for, say, 2 to 3 hours on a half-day walking tour, climbing 3 or more flights of stairs, getting on and off a variety of transportation. For example, we have a few boats on this particular tour that you'll need to get on and off of. But if you're comfortable with all this, you're gonna have a comfortable touring experience with us. I should add that this is kind of where most of our tours sit. In the United States, we have quite a few tours with an activity level of 2, but that's because we have in the United States the Americans with Disabilities Act. In Europe, most of our tours are in activity level 3. So this is kind of the standard for our tours. So I don't want it to turn you off because it's not a 2, right? 2 is easy peasy. 1 is super duper easy, 2 is easy peasy, 3 is moderate, 4 is not even anywhere near extreme. It just kicks it up a notch for level 3. So on day 1, you're going to arrive into San Jose, the capital of Costa Rica. And then after an overnight stay, you're gonna travel by boat. So what you have to do to get to Tortuguero, and this bears a little bit of discussion about Tortuguero. You're gonna take a motor coach from San Jose to a certain point, and from that certain point, you're going to board these boats that you can see in this image here. And then you're gonna have a leisurely 2-hour boat ride to get to Tortuguero National Park, okay? Tortuguero National Park, the whole point is to be amidst nature. You're going to be staying at an eco lodge, shall we call it, called the Evergreen Lodge. So this is a series of buildings that are connected by platforms in the rainforest, right? I just want to be as informative as I can about what you can expect out of your stay in Tortuguero, because you are staying in the middle of the rainforest, right? The objective is to be surrounded by nature. So you might hear monkeys walking around on your roof in the middle of the night. You might find that your toilet paper is a little bit humid in the morning, things like that, right? We're not, we're staying in a really quality 4-star accommodations, but this is, again, an eco lodge. So there's a minor sacrifice to comfort to be made, perhaps. Yes?
I've done that tour.
Uh-huh.
I've been in that lodge.
Yes.
It's not rustic in any way, shape, or form. It's absolutely beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you for your input on that, because I've heard mixed
No,
things about it, and-
they're cabin-likes, but
Yeah.
they're beautiful cabins.
Yeah.
And you truly are in the middle of the park. And dining was in an open building.
Uh-huh.
And some of the animals would just come walking by. Didn't bother, I mean, it was absolutely gorgeous.
Well, thank you for sharing that firsthand experience. That was very, very helpful. I just like to keep people understanding that they're not staying at like a Sheraton, you know, where,
No.
yeah. What is a monkey doing anywhere near me, you
It's still very comfortable
know?
and very nice.
Good,
Yeah.
good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad you enjoyed it. So, now we're moving on to this wonderful turtle. You're gonna boat further down the rivers and the canals to the world's first sea turtle research station. And then later you'll have time to explore Tortuguero town with your tour manager. One thing you'll notice about the island is that there are no cars here, which is why we have to take a boat to get here. So this is a good example of what you can expect out of this resort. So here you're gonna get away from it all and relax at the Evergreen Lodge, set right in the heart of the jungle, which will be your home for the next 2 nights. Air conditioning is not available at this property, right? Did you feel?
I'm trying to remember, I mean, I wasn't uncomfortable, so I really can't remember.
If you don't remember missing it, then you must have been pretty comfortable, right?
And believe me, I can get uncomfortable when it's hot at night, but, no, I don't remember being comfortable at all on this tour.
That's good to know. And I think they have fans and so forth.
Yeah, yeah.
To keep the air flowing, so good. So here you have morning calls of monkeys, the gentle chatter of birds. If you're a birding enthusiast, you're going to be in paradise in Costa Rica. Then on day 3, you're going to begin the day on a bird watching excursion. This is the elusive green macaw, and you'll want to keep a lookout for them and other winged creatures that flock to Tortuguero here. And here you're going to embark on a nature cruise through Tortuguero for a peek behind the rainforest's lush green walls. You'll get a glimpse into the life of caimans, turtles, monkeys, lizards, jaguars, manatees, and more in Tortuguero. This is a great example of what your room will look like.
Looks terrible.
Yeah, it looks really rustic. Just nothing but bamboo. It looks quite nice. And then the afternoon is yours to enjoy it at leisure. You might want to consider enjoying the resort's wonderful amenities here. And then in the evening, a local is going to teach you all about the village and its history as a coconut plantation. And you're going to watch as he demonstrates how they use coconuts before you're trying your own hand at making a local favorite, which is coconut candy. Day 4, you're going to take that boat back to the mainland and make your way towards Sarapiquí and Tirindina Rainforest Center. This is a reserve that covers an area of more than 850 acres, seeking to protect the biodiversity and environment of the region. And here you're going to have what we call an impact moment. And this is something that we feature heavily in our small group explorations tours. So you're going to visit a cacao plantation at the Rainforest Center. This is an ecotourism destination that is vigilant for the environmental, social, and economic impact. You'll learn the processes of sustainability here, of converting the seed from the cacao beans to the bar, and taste for yourself why it's called the food of the gods. So this is all about chocolate. My son would be in heaven here. All he ever talks about is chocolate and cacao. Very important to the Costa Rican economy. Later, you're going to arrive at Tilajari Hotel, which is your secluded nature resort nestled on the edge of the San Carlos River. And at your leisure, you'll wander through the ground's botanical gardens. This resort is lined with fruit trees, including guava, mango, and lemon. And here you can take a dip in the resort's pool or enjoy the lush nature around you. Then on day 5, you're going to explore the beauty of your surroundings on a Peñas Blancas River safari. Here you'll immerse yourself in a natural wonderland as you coast along the tranquil waters of the river. This area is home to endless wildlife, including crocodiles, monkeys, frogs, and tropical birds. And you'll paddle your way and float down the river on a peaceful adventure, taking in the sights and sounds of the rainforest as your naturalist guide describes the intricacies of the wildlife around you. Afterwards, you're going to visit a finca, which is the local word for an estate or ranch or farm of a local family, and get to know the local family. As you chat with them, you can try specialty snacks such as banana bread, gourmet Costa Rican coffee, and more. Has anyone ever tried Costa Rican coffee before? Delicious, isn't it? Some of the best in the world. Then you're gonna participate on a guided walk through a private primary forest reserve for a look at the various flora and fauna. And make sure you bring the camera with you. Binoculars are not a bad idea in Costa Rica either. And then on day 6, you're going to be taking the hanging bridges suspended above the rainforest tour, where you'll get a bird's eye view of the jungle on a guided tour of the famous hanging bridges of Arenal. From this higher perspective, you'll get a closer look at the creatures that frequent the trees, including sloths, lizards, monkeys, and birds. And then settle into your resort in Arenal for the next 3 nights. What I love about this volcano is it looks like the kind of volcano I saw like in cartoons when I was a kid, or what I used to draw is, you see a lot of volcanoes and they don't really look like volcanoes from afar. This one really does, because I think in the late 90s, early 2000s, had a minor eruption that really denuded it of trees. Hasn't erupted since, and it's pretty much dormant now, so perfectly safe to stay there. But an absolutely beautiful landscape here. You've got the volcano, the adjacent lake. The earliest known eruptions from Arenal took place about 7,000 years ago, and it rises more than 5,400 feet over the surrounding landscape. This is a feature that Colette has developed, innovated in the space of guided travel, and what this means is choice on tour. So this is a feature that's is unique to Colette, and what it basically means is that on a given day of a tour, we give you a couple of options that you can choose from. These are activities that are included in the price of your tour. They're not extra options that you have to pay more for, but it basically breaks up the kind of sense of rigidity that guided travel can sometimes has, gives you a couple of choices, and, it's been down out there now. And I always like to point out as well that, even if we're traveling with our best friend in the world, when we're sharing a room with somebody for 8, 9, 10 nights at a stretch, if they snore or if we snore, we might need a little break from each other, and this gives a great opportunity for traveling companions to get a break from each other for the day, come back and tell each other exciting stories about their experience. So here you have 2 choices, which is the first choice is your zip line tour. So this is for the not faint of heart, I would say. Costa Rica invented zip lining, so to do it here is to do it where it was first started, and probably one of the most amazing places to do it, because you're zip lining through the rainforest canopy. The second option, for those of you who are maybe a little afraid of heights, like myself, is to hike past Arenal's lava fields and get an up-close and personal look at the volcano towering above you while you do that. The afternoon is going to be yours at leisure. You might want to discover La Fortuna or relax in the hotel's naturally heated pools here. And here we do have one optional excursion that we offer to you if you like to stay active the entire time. Your transportation is included on this tour to a Costa Rican farm, where you're going to explore a family-owned farm, getting a peek into the daily lives of the locals. You'll tour the gardens, learn how the plants are organically grown through a concept of sustainability. And this farm is considered a classroom without borders. Here you're going to taste the exotic fruit harvest and experience the traditional way to process sugar cane. And they actually make a sugar cane liquor here, so you're going to enjoy a sip of that before engaging in a culinary demonstration and a farm-to-table lunch. Day 8, you'll have a full day at leisure to enjoy the amenities of your resort. And here we have another optional excursion for you. If you like to stay really active, you could participate in a whitewater rafting experience. This is a 3.5-hour tour during which your transportation is included. And of course, we start this tour off with a basic safety course on the different types of rapids and so forth to make sure that you're completely safe during this activity. Day 9 in the morning, you're going to wake up and smell the coffee at a local farm that produces some of Costa Rica's well-known beans. You'll take a tour of the local plantation with the workers and have a chance to discuss what life is like for these coffee farmers. Then in the afternoon, you're gonna head for Playa Herradura and settle into your resort for the next 2 nights. The name Herradura means horseshoe. Playa is, of course, the Spanish word for beach, so it's named for the shape of the beach itself. As this day draws to a close, you'll watch the sunset over the Pacific alongside birds in every color of the rainbow. And then on day 10, welcome to Manuel Antonio National Park. As you can see, it's a beautiful beach, and what you notice here is the absence of high-rise hotels. There are none here because it's a national park. Day 11, you'll see wild crocodiles among the mangroves of Tarcoles Rio Grande. And during an exhilarating jungle crocodile safari, you'll boat beneath the towering jungle, looking along the riverbanks for a glimpse of these incredible creatures. Then it's back to San Jose for your final night stay. And you'll toast to Pura Vida of Costa Rica tonight over a farewell dinner. And after your final night stay, we'll transfer you to the airport of San Jose for your return flight home. You'll find a link to our registration page for this tour in the brochures that are at the back of this room.
And I'll pass it to Travel website. It'll take you directly there. Yeah.
Exactly. And you can learn a lot about not only the tour, but all sorts of tips on like what to pack, how to pack, what to wear, what the climate's gonna be like, what sort of currency you need, what the adapters you need are like, and all sorts of other useful information. So the next tour that we're presenting to you this evening is our Southern Italy and Sicily tour. This is one of our classic tours, and I'm really excited to tell you a little bit about this tour because I was just in Sicily with Colette last month and had an amazing time. We did our annual sales meeting in Sicily, and I got to see many of the places that you will be seeing on this tour should you travel with us. Day one is going to start with an overnight flight. That's anytime you travel to Europe, it's an overnight flight. Once you arrive, you're going to be arriving into Palermo Airport, where you'll spend your first 2 nights before moving on to Agrigento on the southern side of the island, where you'll be staying for 2 nights at a beautiful beach resort, which I had the pleasure of inspecting while I was over in Sicily, and it's a hotel I've been using for many years, always with great feedback. Then from Agrigento, you're going on to Giardini Naxos, which is just south of Taormina, right on the coast, overlooking the Straits of Messina. You can actually see the Italian mainland from Giardini Naxos. You'll spend 2 nights there, and then you will make your way by ferry across the Straits of Messina. It's about 2 miles between the island and the tip of the boot, after which you'll go overland by motor coach up through the tip of the boot into, the heel of the boot to an amazing town called Matera, which when I design custom tours, I always stick in my custom tours of Southern Italy because it's such an amazing place. Then from Matera, you're going to be going over to the Amalfi Coast, staying 2 nights in Sorrento, before making your way up to Rome for your final night's stay in Rome. And we do have an optional post-tour extension if you'd like to extend your stay in Rome. I'll talk about that a little bit more later. Again, this is a classic tour, so this full-size motor coach, a 52 to 53 seater. We cap these tours at 44 passengers, so there's always a little bit of extra room on the tours. Our classic tours tend to be a great introduction to a country or a comprehensive overview of a country or a particular region. Again, activity level 3, this is pretty standard for Europe due to the older infrastructure in many cases. You have a lot of towns that were built on hilltops, a lot of cobblestone streets, and of course there's no equivalent to the Americans with Disabilities Act in Europe. And I kind of already touched upon this in Costa Rica, so that's the same level of activity you're looking at as in Costa Rica, albeit for slightly different reasons, of course. Okay. So we're going to run through this rather quickly in the interest of time. So you're going to start off in Palermo. I'm going to go over the highlights of this tour. To start off in Palermo, you'll have, of course, a wonderful welcome dinner featuring authentic Sicilian cuisine really the best in Italy. I've been all over Italy, I can say that with all honesty. This is a real treat here. This is the beautiful city of, or town of Cefalù. This is a Norman era cathedral, with amazing Byzantine mosaics inside, and just a picturesque area. There's a beach down here, wonderful town for walking around, lots of great places to buy souvenirs, and those cliffs towering above just make for an amazing setting. You're also going to visit Monreale, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And this is one of the most beautiful Norman churches in Cathedral. Yes, the Normans, as in the conquest of England in 1066, the Battle of Hastings, also made their way through Sicily and left their mark here. This is the Byzantine cloister of Monreale. And then, of course, you'll return to Palermo for an evening at leisure. I had the great fortune of spending the day at this farmhouse. It's in the hills outside of Palermo. Absolutely beautiful, wonderful people. They did an arancini demonstration for us while we were there. The food was absolutely amazing. The service was out of this world, and you're going to enjoy it. And you'll get a chance to meet the owners and really taste some amazing Sicilian food here at this family farm. Then you're gonna make your way to Agrigento, again on the south side of the island. And Agrigento is very well known for its Valley of the Temples. These are Greek temples. The Greeks had a very strong presence in Sicily, and they built some amazing temples on the south side of the island. And interestingly enough, they did not make them out of marble or granite, but out of sandstone, because that's what the local stone they were able to source here. Day 5, you're gonna have your choice on tour feature, either leisure time at the hotel or exploring Agrigento's old town. And then you get to visit the Valley of the Temples, of which you can see an excellent image here. And on the next slide, this is of course a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So this dates back to the 5th century BC, so this was the height of Greek power, the Greek golden age or heroic age of Pericles, around the same time, a bit after the Acropolis was built. And then you'll enjoy dinner at a local restaurant before returning to your hotel. My stomach is still mad at me for coming back from Sicily. It wants to go back. And this is a real treat. On your way towards Giardini Naxos, you're going to visit Piazza Armerina, which is the location of Villa Romane del Casale, which is also a UNESCO World Heritage Site and boasts the largest repository of extant Roman mosaics in the world. Then in the afternoon, you'll continue east to Giardini Naxos, beautiful town on the Ionian coast, for a 2-night stay. And here you have an optional excursion for the flavors of Sicily. So this is an evening excursion, should you choose to really stay active. This will include live music and, of course, quality Sicilian wines. Day 7, you're going to explore beautiful Taormina, which is home to ancient relics and an amazingly well-preserved Greco-Roman theater providing stunning views. That's Etna, of course, in the background, the largest volcano in all of Europe, and the only volcano in the world, I learned when I was in Sicily, that emits smoke rings. And you'll probably see these smoke rings. They happen quite frequently. It has something to do with the sulfur emissions, but really beautiful views from this amazing temple. Then you're gonna have a relaxing afternoon to chill on the beach in Giardini Naxos. And this is a real treat as well. You're going to take an off-road adventure up Mount Etna. You'll learn about the volcano itself, Mama Etna, as the Sicilians call it, on this half-day tour, as well as seeing the amazing changes in different biomes as you go up from Mediterranean up through birch and pine forests, as well as seeing some recent lava fields along the slopes of Etna. Day 8, again, you're going to take that short ferry ride across that narrow Strait of Messina, again, only 2 miles separated from the mainland. And then you're going to have a full day, so this is a longish day, but you've got plenty to see outside of the windows because Italy is a beautiful country no matter what part of Italy you're in. You're going to be traveling through the region of Calabria, up through that tip of the boot, many vineyards to pass by, and you will stop at a local winery for a tour of the cellar and a tasting. You'll also have a nice dinner at agritourism. And then day 9, you're going to explore Sassi di Matera, where you'll be staying for 2 nights. This is an interesting city because a lot of the older parts of the town were carved out of stone. So they weren't built out of stone blocks, they were actually carved out of the stone here. And what's really interesting about this place is filmmakers find that this looks more like biblical Jerusalem than modern day Jerusalem. So a lot of biblical movies have been actually filmed in Matera, interestingly enough. You'll have a guided tour of Matera, of course, where you'll learn about this amazing town, and then have an afternoon at leisure. Here you'll have an optional excursion, and this is something I highly recommend, to Alberobello's Truly. We're wrapping up here because we've only got a minute to go. They're going to kick us out. Sustainable Buffalo Dairy Farm for a taste of fresh buffalo mozzarella. They'll have lunch at the farm and then transfer to the Sorrentine Peninsula for a 2-night stay. Learn about marquetry in the Sorrentine Peninsula, which is an amazing craft. And then sail along the initial stretch of the breathtaking Amalfi Coast. So you're going to see that if you've taken the Amalfi Coast Drive, now you're seeing it from that different perspective. Of course, you'll stop in Positano, and then begin your journey north to Rome. Along the way, you'll, of course, stop at Pompeii for a guided tour, and here you have a choice on tour. Again, you can take a leisurely walking tour of Pompeii or a faster paced walking tour, depending on your preference. We'll zip through these. And then you'll have an afternoon-long transfer up to Rome from the Bay of Naples area, and you'll arrive into Rome this evening, celebrate the end of your journey with a delightful farewell dinner, and then spend your final night in Rome before being transferred to Rome Airport. You can extend your stay with an optional 2-night pre-tour extension in Palermo. This is fully guided, which means you have your tour manager with you throughout this extension. And then there's also a post-tour extension, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, to Rome.
Attention patrons, the library closes in 15 minutes. If you make efforts to check out, please proceed.
So that's 2 nights in Rome, 2 meals included, and that is a fully guided experience as well. So if you'd like to stay longer, experience more, there's always plenty to see and do in Rome. And once again, we have the brochures. Everything you need is on the Passages Travel website. There's your pricing with insurance. Good. Oh, and
We'll have to do this.
we'll have to test it about this another time. I was just gonna preview flavors of Portugal and Spain and Morocco anyway with a couple of slides, but both very amazing tours that I'll be happy to tell you about. 3 destinations that I'm quite experienced in.
Thank you very much, Paul.
Yep, you've got to wrap it up.
Yeah, we've got to wrap it up because the library closes in 15 minutes. But ladies, what we're trying to do is get you together so that we can get some ideas of where you want to go. These are where we're going. We'd love to have you join us. But then in order to have you travel, where you're not traveling by yourself, you're going with a group, we need your input. And so, as I said, we're going to be sending this out to you. And on this QR code, once you have this information, you can go in there and fill out the little form for us. It basically tells us if you're interested in any of these tours that we have coming up, and also gives you an opportunity to share with us what you would like to do. We're looking for as many ladies and or gentlemen that are interested in traveling that don't necessarily have a partner. We're trying to put together something. We're not there yet. We're just starting. So we're looking for input from you all as far as what suggestions you may have. We don't really want to do a club, but yet we want to really push the fact that we do take groups. If you come with me, I can guarantee you, once you travel with me, once you want to travel with me again, I take very good care of my customers, and I want you to always have a good time. And it always, I've got one customer that takes medication that makes her sleep, and so she's afraid that she's going to miss something or miss getting up, or those kinds of, you want to be going with me, because I'm going to be the one that makes sure that you're where you need to be, when you need to be there, those kinds of things. So We're not gonna be putting people together as far as roommates and things of that nature, that will be up to you, but if we can get together, maybe every couple months, do something like this where we can talk about the different things that we're doing, then it might move into something a little bit, more broad. Does that make sense?
Questions? Does anybody have any questions? or-
Any questions from anyone?
What was the thing about the passport?
I'm gonna send you an email tomorrow morning with all the links and information and a recording. Sure.
There's so many of them now, the TSA.
I know, that's why I said, at some point, they're all gonna have to get rolled into one because
TSA
it's
is
too
clear,
much.
they say it's good to get.
Global
I have a
entry.
global entry, yeah,
Yep.
so it's like.
It's like, there's no more room on my phone for an app.
We're talking about in-country travel as well.